Good morning, I hope you had a lovely Easter weekend. Today I'm just going to do a really bold pink smoky eye. I did this yesterday for something a bit different and I loved it, so I'm just going to recreate it for you. Now I've already got my base on, I've got my CC cream on today, but I had forgotten a few bits as I started, so I've just paused and I'm picking up, and now I'm going to go in with just a little bit of setting powder to seal everything in place, but I'm not going to go around the edges of my complexion. I'm just going to do the centre for now, so that later on I can add some creams to warm up my complexion. But for now, because I'm going in with a pink, I'm going to use an eyeshadow primer. This is the tinted one from NARS. I think the thing with any pinks, whoever you're using it from, they do tend to stain. Now I have to say, I'm going to show you a pink that I wore all day yesterday and it didn't stain and I was really chuffed. But I did put this primer underneath, so I don't know if it was a particularly good pink or the fact that I prepped well. But if you're using a brighter colour, I mean, I'm using a particular eye primer here, but you could just use a bit of concealer and set it in with powder. I would always put a little bit more of a base so that you're not left with stained red eyes for the next few days. This NARS one is tinted, but it also comes in a clear version. And it is fantastic. If you don't want your eyeshadows to move, believe me, once you've got that on, they're not going anywhere. Now I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush and set that primer with some powder as well, just so that that lid is completely dry and my powders are going to hopefully glide over it. Now I'm going to go a bit top heavy with this pink. I did this yesterday. I've actually got some of the brushes that I used yesterday, so if you're looking at me thinking you haven't washed those, I just left them on the side because I only did this one very quick look and I thought, oh, do you know what, in case I do that tomorrow, I will keep them. I did a live video with Lisa Potter Dixon and we just did like a little get ready for the day. And I hadn't had any makeup on all weekend and we both said, come on, let's do something really bright. And the pink just really perked me up for the day. Something a bit different. You know, it's the last thing I would have thought to do. And I was really glad I did it. It was a real mood booster. So I'm going to do the same today. So I'm starting with a matte pink all the way through this socket. And if it spills onto the eye a little bit, I don't mind, because I'm going to put a shimmer on there as well. So it's actually my mum's 70th birthday today. So we're getting ready for a family Zoom. So I thought, yeah, why not? If you can't put a nice bright pink eye makeup on for your mum's 70th birthday, when can you? We're all having a sausage sandwich, first of all. They're in progress as we speak. And then it'll be Zoom time. Now I'm going in with a clean brush to just soften out that edge, because obviously that was looking like a bit of a rainbow shaped arch, which I don't want. I want a nice seamless. See, that's driving me a bit mad. Can you see what I mean? That there's a bit of a line there. I think it's just kind of where my eye is naturally creasing as well, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to go back in with a little bit more, because as much as I do want that seamless blend, I also want you to be able to see that there's a nice vivid pink going on there. So I'm actually going to pack on a little bit more. Now I'm not taking this underneath the eye at all today, which isn't like me. I love something under the eye, but I'm going to kind of seal all of this off with a nice crisp liner flick. Lovely, and you can see the sizes of the brushes I'm using here. If you've got something really, really big and fluffy, that will give you a huge blown out blend, whereas something a bit smaller, like this one, is going to be great to pack on some colour, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to take this kind of shimmery shade right up to the crease of the eye. Now this is almost like a pressed glitter, and a lot of the time I would say you're probably just as well to use your finger. In fact, that's not come out the strongest, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Ring finger in there. And that's actually come out loads more pigmented. So if it's virgin on a glitter texture, just go in with your finger and you might find that you get a more dense colour payoff. I'm keeping those inner corners relatively clean because if I've got one to hand, oh actually I do, I'm going to use more of a light shimmer shade to make that pop. I'm going in actually with Peach's Pigment in Pearl, which if you have used this before, it's a loose pigment, it looks white, but when it catches the light, it reflects like a pink. So I'm going to press some of that in those inner corners, and also going to use that as my highlighter to give this whole look a lovely pink theme, and under these brows. Just going for a nice bit of fun today. Now, what I have done, which I'm sure we've all done, Mum's got one of those magnifying mirrors and I've just gone berserk on my eyebrows, which I shouldn't have done. So I'm taking Brow Wiz in Blonde to draw them back on, and I'm just going to leave them until I've got a little fragment of an eyebrow left. I'm usually very good for leaving my brows alone, but you know what it's like when you're close up. You just see one and then you've got three of its friends, and before you know it, in my case, you've got no eyebrows left. So I'm tickling those back in. There we go. And brushing it through. Lovely. The nice thing about a smaller wand is you can almost draw on the illusion of little hair strokes, which isn't quite what I've been doing, but you can really easily cheat that kind of look. Because I don't necessarily want them to look drawn on, I just want them to look fuller. I think I've put a bit more pigment into that side. So I'm just going to balance them out a little bit. Okay, loving that so far. I'm going to take a nice brightening, fleshy nude colour on my waterline. This is from Pixi. So just make sure those eyes are looking nice and bright. And then I'm going to take a nice crisp black eyeliner flick to frame that pink and just give the eye a really pretty shape. Now, if you're going over glitter, which I am here, it can potentially clog your liner, so just make sure you brush off any excess. Okay, I've got the base of a liner on there. I'll do the same on the other side. And now I'm just going to build it up and flick that out. And then I'm going to go over that to make it nice and jet black. Again, especially because there's some glitter involved. If that lands on that black, it can really dilute it down. So just get it nice and jet black and glossy. I'm constantly wiping off any excess here. Now, they're not quite even, but I think I'll get away with them. Lovely. And then what I'm going to do, I've been doing this all week. My hay fever has started to play up again. So I'm actually just going to put some mascara on the top lashes and I'm going to leave the bottom. And then if anything's watering or being a bit of a nightmare, I don't have to clean up. And again, a nice thick coat of mascara is just going to frame this so nicely that it looks really classic and still like a normal eyeshadow look, that you don't feel as adventurous for having gone for that slightly different colour. You could do this with any of the colours that you're thinking of having a play with. Okay, now I've got that little spill. I'm going to leave that until it's dry because it'll be easier to flick away. I'm going to go in with a little bit of my cream bronzer and cream highlighter. And then I'm not going to do too much of a lip because I think we can agree there's more than enough pink going on today. So I'm just going to press some of that in and around the hairline. And as you can see, I'm not rubbing because I don't want to remove any of that coverage that I've been building. I'm just pressing over the top in lots of little stippling motions. There we go. Use the end of this to flick that away. Doesn't quite want to go anywhere. I might have to come back to that. That'll tell you how rosy I've been. I think I've actually flicked a bit of the coverage off. So I'm going to take the tiniest bit of my CC and just paint a little bit back in there. Lovely. And then lip. Might just go in with a little touch of this Sainsbury's gloss that I've been loving. Even that was a bit much, you know. I think I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead here. Okay. Soften that out and I'm gonna take a tiny bit of that Peaches pigment in Pearl just on my cheekbones on a fluffy brush. Now, hope you enjoyed and I will see you again very soon. Bye.